So we decided to come out to Park City, Utah, and the plan was to have access to the pools. Previously in Boulder, Colorado, when the coronavirus hit, the pools are all closed, and so we wanted to go back up to altitude and take advantage of that. And Park City has been amazing, like perfect weather, the riding's amazing, the running there's great trails, dirt paths everywhere. And obviously, yeah, having access to a pool was our #1 priority. So today we started with a run workout, and this is our typical high intensity day where we have a hard run, a hard swim, and a hard bike. So we started with 4x1 mile at 10K pace, so 10K off the bike, with a 200-meter jog, which is about 1 minute recovery between the mile reps. And so 450 pace per mile, as relaxed as possible, is sort of the pace that I try to replicate coming off the bike, that 30 flat zone like I mentioned. And that may not be my open 10K pace, but more of what I would run off the bike. When you're a little more cramped up, your psoas is tight and your quads are tight, your hamstrings are tight from a really hard bike. So each week I do a total of 6 high intensity workouts. That's 2 for each event. I do 2 hard swims, 2 hard bikes, and 2 hard runs. And so the rest of the week is sort of easy aerobic swimming, biking, and running. And in an ITU race, the intensity is really important that we sort of train that way, because you're constantly having to surge. You see major spikes in heart rate and power, and it's important to replicate that in training and not just do volume. So intensity is very important in our training day to day, but also you don't want to overcook yourself. You can't do every workout with intensity, or else you're just going to implode after a couple weeks. When you're at altitude and you're trying to replicate sort of the same sort of workouts at sea level in the pool, you want to almost take the intervals down a notch. So let's say your set is 200s or 300s at race pace. You do 25s or 50s at the same pace, and you get more rest at altitude. As you get adjusted over 2 or 3 weeks to altitude, you can start to increase those intervals back up to sea level, those 200, 300 repeats. But you really want to dial in that 25, 50 at max or race pace effort to get the most out of technique, form, and just adapting to overall altitude. So last week we did Wednesday Worlds, and it was a bit of a shocker. We showed up, and I think me and Morgan got dropped pretty hard, at least halfway through. We weren't ready to go from a hard run workout to a hard bike, especially with World Tour riders, guys like Quinn Simmons, Keegan Swanson, and a couple cyclists on Haggins Berman. So you have World Tour riders that you're trying to hang on their wheel. So we're a little more prepared today, both mentally and physically. I think I ate a little more this afternoon, just making sure I have that energy going into this ride. And that's going to replicate the sort of intensity we need on race day, because that's exactly what ITU racing is like. You're coming out of corners, sprinting at 600 to 800 watts, and then you're sitting in at 300, 400 watts and having to rotate in the pace line, and it gets really hard. So this group ride is all out, and it starts out with like a 20-minute hill. I remember looking down, I was averaging 350 watts for 20 minutes, and then you come down, you descend into this dirt road, and that's where things really start to break open. And you have to have really good handling skills. It's almost like you want a gravel bike, but you're running 28 tires, and it starts to echelon because of that crosswind. So you don't want to get stuck on the outside of the echelon, or you're going to be wasting way too much energy and you're probably going to get dropped. And that sort of handling skills on dirt with pro cyclists, that gave me a lot of confidence for sure. And I think that's something that I'm going to carry into next season is just not being afraid to be in the pack with 40 guys, 30 guys going throughout the course. And then you end on like another 15-minute hill and you're doing over 350 watts. And so being prepared this week to sort of take this group ride in 3 different stages has really helped me. And yeah, I look forward to recovering tonight, and we're gonna get back at it tomorrow and start crushing it.